Welcome to this edition of Racing News. In the show this week, if it's prestige, power or passion that you're after, then seize the opportunity and get to Bloodstock South Africa's upcoming National Yearling Sale. We speak to Executive Manager Gary Grant. Summerveld in the mornings is abuzz with activity with the onset of champion season. We took a walk around earlier this week and spoke to trainers, jockeys and even a couple of the horses. The National Horse Racing Authority flew Melinda Toy up from Cape Town to work with the Greyville handlers. We caught up with them at the starting gates. To the casual observer on race day, horses canter down to the start, circle, load and jump at the push of a button. It all sounds fairly simple and we take it for granted. But when fully loaded, the 11-ton starting gate becomes a shifting mass of horses, jockeys and starting crew. One only has to observe carefully tense riders, anxious to go, often exchanging words with the starter that can add to a horse's fear.
Michelle, I think we first just need to understand what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a flight animal.
Yes.
We're dealing with an animal that can get anxious for many irrational reasons. We're dealing with animals that are what we call tuned. They're hyped up. Some of them probably not being prepared well enough for what they are supposed to do here. And remember, we are working at the starting stalls, a structure that can be extremely challenging and threatening to the horse. So there are more than enough reasons for a horse to be very difficult here.
Sean, what initiatives have you undertaken here at Greyville?
Well, I think we've got our handlers who are the unsung heroes on a race day. You know, the handlers are often overlooked as they're a very, very important part of the starting team. They work under extreme conditions down there, weather-wise, big pressure in terms of temperamental animals down at the start, highly strung animals, and also can at times be unpredictable. And we often forget the sacrifice and the work that they put in there to try and ensure that we load our horses efficiently and safely. We undertook a couple of weeks or a couple of months ago where we had a discussion about trying to uplift the skills of the handlers. On a race day, it's high pressure. We've got to start races within a specified time. There's no real time to do in-house training with the guys. And we've brought Milan up from Cape Town. He's regarded very highly as a horseman. And we thought that he might just be the right kind of a chap to walk in and just hone those skills of the handlers at the start. I'm happy with the handlers at the start, but I think we can always improve. We need to ensure that we load our horses much quicker. That just alleviates things going wrong at the start. And we just want to take a couple of positives from him in terms of where we can just better ourselves. Bearing in mind, they have to operate as a team, and we need to get the group together to do a bit of training with them to ensure that as a team they operate and they can look after each other's safety at the start, which is very, very important for us.
I am a licensed official of the National Horse Racing Authority, and because of the work I'm doing all over South Africa, I am also a licensed handler. And that's one of the reasons why I'm allowed to go on course wherever I go in South Africa. I'm a licensed official. So it was an incentive from the National Horse Racing Authority to look at what is going on in racing, to look at what is the situation at the start all over South Africa, and to try to improve conditions through the training of their staff. And that is part of my purpose here, to train and advise the starting stall staff so that everything can be safer for human beings and horses, and so that everything can run smoother. Because at the end, we all want the horses just to load and to go into the race. The trainers, and especially the owners, sitting back in the pavilion, they came tonight to see their horses run. And the ultimate objective is just to get the horses into the stalls in a smooth, relatively relaxed way, and get them into the race so that we can see how they can perform.
So how does Milan go about managing horses in the loading process?
I think we must understand that the loading process as such initially can be a very slow process for the horse.
Right.
Because part of the loading process is also to desensitize the horse for confinement. Now, flight animals are not supposed to be confined. That's one thing. Confinement in the stalls causes anxiety. The horse gets fractured inside, and anything then can happen in the stalls. Being fractured, horse can throw a huge dill. The other very important thing is also for the horse to understand that it is supposed to stand first before jumping. Now, to me, there's always 4 steps, if I can quickly talk about that, in training or schooling the horse, taking into account the basic principles of learning, in the science of learning. First is to establish ground control, which means you get the horse's behavior in general under control. That means that the horse can move its feet regardless of you moving your feet and in any direction on your request. With ground control, you establish the basic tools, psychological tools, which you will use in the loading process. The second step would be to train the horse how to load. The third process would be to teach the horse or train the horse to stand, and then only the fourth process is to train the horse to jump. Now, the problem with horse behavior is, and remember, we're dealing with animals that are not intelligent. That's very important to understand. What we are doing with them here is very challenging to them as a flight animal. If you do the 4 steps too close to each other, the horse then associates the loading, for example, with jumping, which means that when the horse is in the stalls, it thinks it's supposed to jump. It doesn't reason that the gate is still closed. It cannot think that I'm not supposed to jump. It's instinctively the horse jumps. So again, if the horse is, and if you take time in training, because science tells us training flight animals takes enormous time. Doesn't matter in which discipline you do that. If you take your time and you follow these steps slowly, gradually, and step by step, the chances of a horse being fractured here is minimal.
Umzumkulu Stakes, grade 3, 1400, they're set. Runners set free from the 1400 meter marker, and Dynamic Diana was very slow to go.
Can a race be won or lost at the jump?
There's no doubt, absolutely, especially the sprint races. All you need to do there is fluff your lines at the start, especially on the gravel poly or in winter in Joburg down the straight. You're going to battle to win it because it's a test of speed. Over distance you might get away with it, but in the sprints, yeah, you can lose a race at the start by not jumping, getting out of the pens fast.
My take on this is that if you prepare a flight animal through the whole process of learning, and remember, we must understand they learn 24 hours of the day. If you prepare them well enough, if you train them well enough, you know, everything should go relatively okay here.
Milan has been associated with some of our best racehorses.
Right in the beginning, Dynasty was actually one of the first so-called big racehorses that I became involved in. JPEG was one of my prides, you know, the fact, you know, look, I'm getting goosebumps when talking about these horses. Pocket Power, for example, was a horse that I had the privilege of breaking in at the then Arkansas Stud Farm. Variety Club, but Variety Club I got involved with right in the beginning. It was extremely difficult to load, and it was extremely difficult inside in the starting stalls. So Variety Club I accompanied for most of his starts, his races in South Africa, wherever he ran. And then Abashiri. So yes, I've been involved, and I'm still involved with some of the big and important racehorses in South Africa. It is obviously the satisfaction of being able to modify behavior, of to change behavior.
Yeah.
From a fractured, excited horse, you can train that same horse into being relatively calm and under control.
Milan, what would you wish as the outcome of all of this?
Michelle, as a project, and it's not going to be in Durban, it's going to be everywhere in South Africa. As a project, I would like the public to know what horses are really about, what a horse in essence is. I want them to know what is going on, you know, at the start. I want them to understand that we're not dealing with the Black Beauty that we saw in the movies many years ago, but that this is really a completely different story. So that when something happens here, they need to understand, you know, it's not because it's anybody's specific fault that the horse is playing up or fell over backwards or, you know, went dilly in the starting stalls. I want them to understand that, you know, we are really doing our utmost best to get their horses in the starting stalls, but they need to understand what's going on here.
I think it's something that we've been wanting to do for quite some time. We've had the opportunity to get Milan up here now to spend some time with them. Tomorrow morning we're down at Summerveld and we're going to have a session with the team for a couple of hours where they're going to work with a couple of horses in terms of just the spatial awareness, the loading efficiently, to make sure that their safety is always protected at all times. And I think it's going forward, it's something we want to step on. The encouraging thing was when we raised this issue with the handlers that we wanted to do this, a number of them had actually come up with a couple of suggestions themselves in areas where they wanted us to do a little bit of extra work with them in terms of it, and that was very encouraging. And we'll take those things on board, and tomorrow we'll be working with them and trying to sort those out.
Hopefully, all this translates into guaranteeing owners and punters that every horse is given a fair chance from the time of the break. The start of autumn, cool mornings and golden leaves mean just one thing in KZN, the start of champion season. Horses have steadily been arriving at Summerveld, so we decided to take a walk around to see who we could find. Justin, wonderful to have you here ahead of champion season.
Yes, look, over the moon. We're just getting everything packed and getting up here, and the family arrive tomorrow afternoon, and Charles, my dog, arrives in the morning on Kulula. So he's on the cheap budget plane. So I'm looking forward to getting them all up here, and we've arrived here safely, and it's been fun. It's just great to be back, and really looking forward to the season. It's going to be very hard, and we're going to just be very patient through and make sure we get to the end.
It's nice to have some good horses again. I've been stuck here with one-time and two-time winners, but it's nice to have the big horses here. It's going to be a bit of a tough season. Justin's got a very strong string, but we'll try our best to stop him somewhere.
And this is a beautiful time of the year here at Summerveld and in Durban.
It is. It's the best time, winter in Durban. It's nice, cool, nice weather. It's a lovely day like today at Summerveld.
Lots to look forward to.
Yes, a lot to look forward to.
It's the beginning of the season. It's nice to have a winner last meeting, start off with a bang, and looking forward to a good season. Some really exciting horses. Think it's going to be competitive, and good times ahead.
Champion season about to start. You excited?
Yes, very much. Looking forward to what's coming up. Yes, 100%. Always a good time of the year being here. So we're out of Cape Town now, running away from the rain that we desperately need. But yeah, happy to be here.
Is there going to be some friendly rivalry between the two of you?
Off the track, we're friends, but out there we're there to win, and we're quite competitive, and we like the sport amongst each other. Yeah, look, it's always competitive. Riding against Richard, he's one of the best in South Africa at the moment. So it's tough out there, but look, I've got the horses this season, so I think I've got the upper hand.
It's nice to see all the nice horses out. Obviously it gets tough, but that's what we want.
But you've started off so well with Lady in Black.
Yeah, she had a really nice comeback run, over a trip short of her distance. She fought on well, giving everybody weight, so she can only come on from that. So yeah, she's a nice filly to look forward to. We've got pretty much a young string, so the younger horses are two. We've got some really nice 2-year-olds to run during the season.
There's a different feeling here at Summerveld when you come in the mornings.
Yes, quite right, Michelle. The season brings with it an air of excitement.
Yeah.
Not only do the trainers enjoy parading their horses when the big horses come, but the grooms also, they're quite proud of their good horses, and the jockeys obviously get talking amongst each other, and it's a season that passes very quickly because it is so enjoyable. It's lovely to see the best horses gather, and although it can be a little bit cramped for space here at Summerveld, it's also worth it from that perspective.
Yeah, no, it gets busy this time of year. Yeah, the boys have arrived. Obviously, a lot of them are here all year round now. I saw MJ with his sister's jobbers on this morning. No, the colourful character here obviously doesn't get too easy, but no, we've got some nice horses this year to go into bat with. So no, looking forward to it.
Sean, exciting time of the year with champion season.
Yes, it's very exciting. All the top horses are here in Natal at the moment, so it's looking up to be a good season.
Is it good chatting to fellow jockeys from out of province?
Yeah, we always keep in contact with a couple of us, myself and Grant van Niekerk's very close. When I go down to the Cape Town season, I'm always staying by him, so it's quite nice that he's here for a change. And he's got 2 fillies, what's going to take my filly on in the Durban season. Yeah. So we're hoping for the best. We got to take them on. They're in our hometown now. We were in theirs, and we got to take them on with the season to come.
The champion season is always the exciting time. You know, people look forward to the July and all the other big major races, and it's nice to see all the guys here from Cape Town and Johannesburg. So yeah, it's always a nice time of season.
Do you chat to these guys from out of province?
Yes, you know, we have a little bit of banter in the jockey rooms. You know, the Oaks are comparing the Cape to here. So it's a nice time of the year, and it's nice to see top horses. And I think it's a festival that actually, what can I say? It actually brings racing together. Yeah.
There's a different vibe here at Summerveld. It's exciting being here, seeing all these horses and people from out of province. What does it feel like for you?
I'm feeling very excited. Yeah, it's nice to see the new horses.
Peter, champion season is upon us. You've got a wonderful string here, lots to look forward to.
Yeah, the horses have obviously arrived in very good order, settled in very well. We had our first runners on Sunday and both ran particularly well, with Undercover Agent winning and White River running an eye-catching third. So exciting times ahead, I think.
Is it wonderful to have all these horses and people here at Summerveld at this time of the year?
Yeah, you know, it creates the vibe, the atmosphere is there. Lovely to work with top class horses competing against other top class horses, and it makes for the whole season basically.
I'm with my favourite horse of all. This is Captain America, who's here for the season for the Brett Crawford yard. We think maybe we'll ask him himself how he's feeling. How are you doing, my boy? What does that mean in horse speak? I think there's a good season ahead.
I live by the adage, basically winning's not everything, it's the only thing.
It's good to see good horses and good racing, even though they don't come from our own yards. The public have got a lot to look forward to. Summerveld's a buzz at the moment. Everyone's looking over their shoulders to see how the horses are doing, different jockeys, and it's great. The nice thing about it, racing season, we get to see you and Ellen come with the film crew, and then closer to the drive we get all the international press, which I'm quite familiar with a lot of them. But it's good for racing for the whole country in general, but Gold Circle in particular, because this is our showcase, yes, what people come to look for. Absolutely. And we're showing our product.
Yeah. Professional horsemen know, and if they don't, they're learning fast. There's great quality to be had, but better still, great value at Bloodstock South Africa's national yearling sale. Champions have been bred and raised on our country's green pastures, some of which have gone on to achieve abroad, stand as sires or grace broodmare camps around the world. Every year, the national yearling sales gives owners, trainers and agents a window of opportunity to invest in some of the very best bloodstock South Africa has to offer. Not only that, but at prices that are the most competitive in the world, given the internationally proven quality of yearlings we produce.
I think we have a very strong catalogue this year. I think industry observers that have looked at the catalogue would agree. There's a spread of stallions, there's a spread of vendors. I think there's something for everyone. But it is high quality, and I think that is always the objective of the National Yearling Sale.
Do you think most people will find, regardless of their budget?
Look, we have 526 horses catalogued. I'm sure there's something for everyone. Horses do fall through the cracks. You know, not every horse goes for big money. I think if we look at the stakes winners from the last weekend in the juvenile races, Celtic Sea cost 325, Bold Eagle cost 210. So there is certainly value to be had as well. But I think there are also some impeccably bred and imposing individuals as well to look forward to.
How do you rate this catalogue compared to perhaps previous years?
I think it's a stronger catalogue this year. I think we've got great depth. We're well represented in the stallions department. You know, the old guard, the new up-and-coming stallions, and the first season sires. And we're also represented by the best nurseries in the country. So, yeah, I think it's a great catalogue and certainly stronger than last year.
What can people expect this year that could be different from last year when they get up to the complex?
I think people will be pleasantly surprised when they walk into the complex. I think it's going to have a fresh, clean look. We've got a few exciting innovations, which I'm not going to give away right now. So come down and see for yourself. The complex is looking in magnificent condition. We have made some enhancements to the seating and the viewing. It's great to have Empress Palace back on board. They've put a lot into the sale, which again will manifest itself when you get there. There's a possibility of Bob bringing in some of his high net worth clients. Hopefully the introduction of some fresh blood, but a cross-selling between Emperors and ourselves. I think it's a good match, and we look forward to the renewal of that partnership.
It sounds like it's going to be a good social occasion as well.
Yeah, you know, I think we must remember that racing is fun for most people, and it's their leisure activity, and I don't think we should lose sight of that. I think the setup of our sales complex certainly lends itself to socializing and renewing old friendships and igniting new friendships, and that's certainly the week prior to the sale is a great opportunity for vendors and buyers to interact with each other. So I'm sure that will go down really well. Moving on to the weekend, there are one or two formalities, but we have a bra planned on the Saturday night. We've got a cocktail function on the Sunday, and then it's down to the serious business. As a buyer, you're trying to find the right horse that's out there somewhere.
Yes.
You're trying to figure out what your budget is. You know, trying to estimate prices. On the flip side of the coin, vendors are doing the same thing, trying to gauge the interest. Trying to figure out where they're going to pitch their reserves. So there's a lot of nervous tension and excitement that goes into those first few days before the sale.
Talking of the auction itself, when it comes to actually signing the chit for a horse that you have successfully purchased, what is that feeling like?
I think the kick of adrenaline, bidding for the horse, and then trying to sign the chit afterwards probably rivals the thrill of winning a big race. When you're on a horse and you think you've got the right horse and you think you've got the right money, and suddenly it starts running, that's a great feeling, and that in itself is a reason to come down. Yeah.
Do some of those signatures even resemble what the initial signature would look like when applying for a buyer's card at the sale?
It's funny you should ask. I mean, the signatures when people come and make the applications for the buyer's card are beautiful and perfect.
Yes.
And when you get the vendor roll slip back after the sale, they often don't bear a lot of resemblance. But again, I think that's just a function of the absolute adrenaline and excitement of buying what you wanted.
The excitement when an owner wins a race is almost indescribable, and it was something that we saw on the weekend.
Yeah, I think passion is a necessary ingredient in success and in any endeavour. And watching young Michael Shea and his partner Murray Makepeace celebrate that victory of taking that piece was quite something. And again, if you need a reason to come to the sale, go and watch the video clip of Mike and Murray and the De Kock team celebrating her victory. It really captured the passion of the industry, and that's what it's all about. So come to Nationals and buy your piece of passion.
Gary, tell us how the sale's going to be covered for those people perhaps who aren't able to make it on all the days.
We'll have live streaming on the website, bsa.co.za. The Twitter feed will be going continually, updates on Facebook as well.
You're going to see previews, various information, snippets, comments directly out of the sales yard as well as the sales ring. Keep a look especially on our Facebook page for all those various updates.
Well, it sounds like there's going to be lots happening and a great vibe.
Yes, we're very excited about the sale.
If you want to get involved by bidding from home, we can arrange that. You just need to make application for your buyer's card prior to, and on the day we'll arrange someone to assist you to bid telephonically.
South African breeders are known for producing both sound and durable thoroughbreds, the best of which are good enough to hold their own anywhere in the world. So if you have a perchance to dream, dare to dream big and come to Bloodstock South Africa's National Yearling Sale. We all wish Anthony Delpeche a speedy recovery from his fall. That brings this show to a wrap for this week. The team and I will be at Bloodstock South Africa's National Yearling Sale. Do come over and have a chat. Until then. The Racing News Show and previous screenings are available online at www.goldcircle.co.za. Click on the YouTube icon, go to playlists and click on Racing News to access all shows to date.